Hey guys, it's Jean-Claude. We have another deck opening. Today is going to be for Joker 41. Yesterday's deck was pretty amazing. Let's hope we can continue with that trend. Come on now. Can't grab it. There we go. And luckily today I'm actually feeling a little bit better, so that was kind of short. My last sickness seemed to last like almost 2 weeks, so this one only lasted 2 days, was pretty nice. Purple Archon, Logos, Dis, and Shadows. Enlil, Hunter of the Quicksilver Canyon. It's a very robotic looking Archon. I'm surprised Mars isn't in here just based upon the Archon picture. Nonetheless, pretty neat. It's almost like a fountain catching coins possibly up top. Alright, let's see what's inside this thing. Alright, we are starting off with Shadows. It's special delivery. It's an artifact. Amber Nebula Plate, Omni. Sacrifice special delivery. Deal 3 damage to a flank creature. If this damage destroys that creature, you purge it. Purging is always nice. Skeleton Key is an artifact. Action. A friendly creature captures 1 amber. Perplexing Sophistry, 1 Amber Nebula Plate. If you have more amber than your opponent, they discard a random card from their hand and you draw a card. This card is absolutely absurd in my opinion. You get an amber Nebula Plate. You're only going to play it whenever you have more amber than your opponent, so you're going to discard one of their random cards and gain a card. That's just a lot of value for one simple card. Nightforge, Amber Nebula Plate. If you have not forged a key this turn, you may forge a key at +4 current cost. Not quite as good as other key cheats, but I guess it might have its uses. Whistling Darts, Amber Nebula Plate. Deal 1 damage to each enemy creature. Sucker Punch, Amber Nebula Plate. Alpha. Deal 2 damage to an enemy creature. If that creature is destroyed by this effect, archive Sucker Punch. Ronnie Wrist Clocks, 2 power. Play. Steal 1 amber. If your opponent has 7 more amber, steal 2 instead. Very good card. Nerve Blast. Steal an amber. If you do, deal 2 damage to a creature. A second Nerve Blast. Miasma. Amber Nebula Plate. Your opponent skips the Forge Key step on their next turn. Pretty good with that Ronnie Wrist Clocks. Lamindra, 1 power, deploy, elusive, and Lamindra's neighbors gain elusive. Gamgee's 2 power, elusive. Reap, if your opponent has more amber than you, you get to steal 1. Now we're on to Logos. Chaos Portal, it's an artifact. Action, choose a house. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it is of that house, you get to play it. Pretty neat effect. Remote access, Amber Nebula Plate. Use an opponent's artifact as if it were yours. ZYX Researcher, 2 power. Play, archive the top card of your deck or the top card of your discard pile. Titan Mechanic, 6 power. While it's on a flank, each key costs 1 less amber. Ooh, Professor Sutterkin, 2 power. Reap. Draw a card for each friendly Logos creature. Are we going to have a chance at a taunt creature in here? Let's see, the last house is this? I don't think so. Let's hope for multiple Professor Sutterkins then. Only 1. Poke. Amber Nebula Plate. Deal 1 damage to an enemy creature. If this damage destroys that creature, draw a card. A second poke. Oh, don't give me 3. Okay. Library of Babel, it's an artifact. Action, draw a card. A second Library of Babel. Lab Work, Amber Nebula Plate, archive a card. Okay, so we have like a lot of archiving and card drawing inside of Logos so far, but I don't feel like it's doing too much besides that. Hexbion is 2 power, destroyed. Archive Hexbion and the top card of your deck. Binate Rupture, Alpha. Each player gains amber equal to the amber in their pool. Now we're on to Dis, and this is a pretty nice card. Shadow of Dis, Amber Nebula Plate. Until your next turn, enemy creatures' text boxes are considered blank. This is awesome. It blanks play effects, it blanks reap effects. This is just a really awesome card. Soul Keeper, it's an upgrade, Amber Nebula Plate. This creature gains destroyed. Destroy the most powerful enemy creature. Pain Reaction, Amber Nebula Plate. Deal 2 damage to an enemy creature. If this damage destroys that creature, deal 2 damage to each of that creature's neighbors. This can be a lot of damage for 1 card and getting an amber with it. It's pretty nice. Anguish, 6 power. For each damage on Anguish, your opponent's keys cost +1 amber. Yerk, 4 power. Play, choose and discard a card from your hand. Not finished with you, Amber Nebula Plate. Shuffle any number of creatures from your discard pile into your deck. A second not finished with you. Cold a Week, Amber Nebula Plate. Destroy the least powerful enemy creature. Charette, 4 power. Play, capture 3 amber. A lot of times this will prevent your opponent from making a key because you can take them off of 1. Binding Irons, your opponent gains 3 chains. A second Binding Irons. Could you imagine if they would have allowed you to have 4 or 5 of these in the deck? This is an awesome card as is, but having 4 or 5 of these would have been top notch. Last card of the deck, Amber Imp, 2-power elusive. After a creature reaps, you stun it. I feel like we're a little bit light in creatures, but I think we had a decent amount of Amber Pips. Let's go ahead and get those up. Not finished with you. I don't know if there's anything in particular we're excited about bringing back. I guess just bringing back creatures is not bad, though. Especially if they have something like play effects. Let's see here. Okay, Shadows had a decent amount of steel. And quite a bit of amber, like I was saying. So let's count this up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, 20 is definitely above average for amber. That's not bad at all. Now let's check out amber control. The Ronnies, of course, the Nerve Blast. Miasma slows him down. We'll throw it up with it. It's not necessarily amber control, but sometimes just taking your opponent off a key is pretty nice. And it can also set up a better turn with your Ronnie wrist clocks. Actually, he's not finished with these are actually pretty good because of Charette and Ronnie wrist clocks, now that I'm looking back through it. Amber Imp, once again, we kind of pull stuff up like that, even though I don't necessarily count it. Pythagorean Logos. Okay, Skeleton Key's not too bad. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so only 6 amber control. Of course, it's going to look a little bit worse whenever yesterday we opened up an absurd 10 amber control deck. But at the same time, you have a chance of getting back 2 of those thanks to these not finished with you, so that's not too bad. Actually, I guess you're getting back 3 because Anguish is a pretty good creature. So this deck has some pretty good amber generation, but let's check out the creatures here. The thing it does excel at, I don't know if it's important right now. It definitely excels at having a lot of just chip damage, which might be beneficial just because you're going to be able to, I guess, hit your own Anguish to make your opponent's keys cost more. That's the best way unless your opponent has a bunch of small elusive creatures. I can see you using some of that damage at least. Alright, this felt like a pretty low creature count. 1, 2, 5, 10. Oh no. Oh, did I miss one somewhere? 11 creatures? Oh wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Hold on, we need to look at this from a different point of view now. 11 creatures, I mean 20 amber is quite a bit. Oh man, I just don't know. They're not finished with these. Since we have such a low creature count, there's a good chance we might not even get to return anything really with those. Might draw them before we draw the creatures. Oh my gosh, what is going on here? I wish I would have had like a lot more amber now or some amber control. Oh, jeez. You know, the problem is, sometimes with these decks, let me kind of pull some of these up here. Sometimes not finished with these are just amber. The Skeleton Key looks a little bit worse because of how low the amber count is. I guess at least Lamindra is giving some of our creatures elusive, like maybe that Anguish. I think it's going to really need it in here. But let's see here. There's just sometimes where some of these cards, I mean, Binding Irons are good, but they kind of fall in that category. Same with Binding Rupture, Libraries of Babel. Chaos Portal isn't always like a full value card, because there's a better chance you're not going to be able to play the card that you reveal, based upon just statistics, the amount of cards you have of each house in your deck. So cards kind of like this, same with Library of Babel, you're not necessarily always going to draw a Logos card whenever you do it. That's kind of a problem whenever your deck has quite a bit of cards like this. Binding Rupture, you might actually get to play that one simply because it does have a pretty high amber count. So if you can rush before your opponent can start reaping with their creatures, Binding Rupture will do something for you. But yeah, like the Binding Irons, once again, they are kind of slowing your opponent down, but they're not really like, I don't know, Skeleton Key, man. Gosh, that's a shame. And a lot of our creatures are kind of smaller too, so they don't have great survivability other than the elusive aspect to them. Yeah, it's a shame. I was kind of hoping this could have been almost good enough for reversal. I know quite a few places do run reversal, but at the same time, I feel like the amber count is too high for that. And a lot of times in reversal, your opponent is not going to give you great amber control, so a deck rushing to 18 amber can just win a reversal tournament. Yeah, the 11 creatures here. You combine that with those Babbles, and I said that Chaos Portal. I mean, the good news is the creatures are good on their own, I guess. Gamgee's a great Reaper. Researchers getting you extra cards. Titan Mechanics, the big body. Professor Sudekin. Professor Sudekin is normally a really great creature, but whenever we have such a few amount, it's going to be easier for our opponent to control our board, making this a little bit less of a threat because sometimes this protects another threat, which I don't think we're going to have in here. But Hexagon Archiving, York helps you cycle. Ronnie Wrist Clocks. I guess maybe it's not as bad as I was originally thinking. We do have, I guess, a couple ways to help us cycle. And if we do move our deck a little bit faster, then we can keep returning maybe the Ronnie Wrist Clocks back into our deck and get that value. That's definitely what you need in here. You need to get as much value as possible. And some of these cards actually burn into your deck a little bit faster. Let's look at that. Researcher. Yerk. Hexbion. Pokes might be able to get you there, especially with all your smaller chip damage. Leave an opponent's creature at 1 health and then be able to poke it. I mean, Babbles can kind of do it. They're not necessarily reliable, but okay. Perplexing, Lab Work. Okay, so I guess that's really what it comes down to, is we are going to rely on these cards to help us get through our deck a little bit faster than our opponent can go through theirs, just so we can hope to return things like the Ronnie Wrist Clocks with the not finished with use a little bit more often, keep our opponent off a key, and that does bring the Amber control count up a little bit higher. So yeah, I mean, there is a strategy here, but I do believe this deck is going to be a little bit below average. But unfortunately, 11 creatures is going to have to make it be the low range of C, so it's going to be a C-. The only reason they go into a D rating is because I do feel like it has a little bit of synergies. Doing a little bit of the damage, maybe to your own Anguish, just to make your opponent have to get to a higher Amber count, does make Ronnie Wrist Clocks better, make Charette better. But unfortunately, we didn't have anything like a Lash of Broken Dreams, or more Ronnie Wrist Clocks, or even a great way to protect that Anguish, which really could have helped us move up a notch. Alright guys, well thank you very much for watching my videos, and I'll see you next time.